The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note. Please note.
And boom, just like that, we're back, and it's the second half of our Thursday night doubleheader. If you're watching on YouTube, you might be watching this on its own. Thanks for tuning in. Give us a like, follow, subscribe wherever it is that you're following along right here on our local establishment, on the Video Bros Network, or wherever else you can find us these days. Papa Smokes is right beside me, but he's going to get the intro anyway. Here's the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Smokes! Papa Smokes, Fusion's back. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Munson. That was an awesome introduction. You're getting better on your sustain there. That was nice and long and nice and clear. The voice is getting better.
I'm working on it. You know, I mean, I'm still gunning for it, Papa Smokes. One day I'm gonna be able to step between those ropes, grab that microphone, and say it at least once in my time within pro wrestling. I want to be able to pick up that mic and be able to say, it's time. But we'll save that for in a little bit. But I'm gunning for it, Pop Smokes. It is a dream for sure.
I think it's a good one, Munson. I think it's one you're made for. You're a public figure in PPW wrestling now. Everybody knows you and recognizes you. I want to hear you get in there and work those pipes for the live crowd.
The crowd were chanting for us at the last show, Papa Smokes. It was kind of unreal. I was kind of, okay, keep it down. There's talent that's coming out here right now. But, it was at the same time very humbling. And I appreciate it from the PPW Nation to get those kind of accolades for the contributions and work that we put in over the years, getting that kind of recognition from anybody and knowing that we've done something that could put a smile on somebody's face that they've enjoyed. Hell yeah, man. That's what it's all about. And I love that.
Yeah, and like we've talked about before, we have such awesome fans, and they love their favorites, and they love their regular appearing people. So they see us every show, and they get excited. They want more of everything, and I'm quite fine with that.
Yeah, you bet. So, speaking of PPW as well, too, Papa Smokes, there's going to be something cool coming out very, very soon. The song is already available. Now, this song, you're going to start to see poke around PPW quite often. In fact, it's going to become the new intro to our Saturday afternoon matches coming up soon. It is going to possibly be used in other capacities, but it's also going to have a music video. There's a local Saskatoon artist that ended up coming to the last PPW show, became a big fan, took some footage there with his videographer, and they're going to be using some of that footage in their next upcoming music video. This is an artist called Enjay. The song is called Akimbo. You can check it out on iTunes, on Spotify. Great song at the same time, but it's going to be cool to be able to cross-promote with this guy, be able to use his song for our matches. I'm going to put together a new opening intro set for those matches. I'm probably going to be working on that this weekend, Pop Smokes. I'm really stoked about it. I think the song's pretty cool. I think it's awesome that this guy wanted to use the PPW wrestling that he came to and enjoyed so much, and that he's going to help push the name of Prairie Pro at the same time.
Well, very cool, in fact. And it works out that we got a cool local rapper that came to the shows. He likes the wrestling action. They took some shots, made it look fancy, made it look cool, mixed it into his rap song, and there you go, man. We got a local hit going on here, and I listened to the song earlier today, and I like it, man. I think it's cool, and yeah, it works for his video too. I mean, like having just the way they shot it and edited it, it looks cool, and it goes along with the song really well. So this could be a symbiotic relationship. I like it if he gets what he wants out of this, and we get a song that we can use too. This is totally cool, and I'm down for local artists collaborating with PPW wrestling. It's very cool, and it works out both ways.
Yeah, and you know what? I did reach out to him, and I mentioned that there's only 2 people I know that could smoke that much weed and watch that much wrestling in that amount of time, and that's right here, the Video Bros, because in this video, it is this dude dropping rhymes, smoking blunts and watching PPW. I'm like, man, this guy's, I mean, he's video bro all over him. That's it as far as I'm concerned. That's what it takes to be a video bro right there.
No, it's a match made in heaven. We got to keep the momentum going for sure.
Maybe I'll talk to him about maybe joining us for a little hangout, talk about his music here one of these nights. I think that'd be a lot of fun too. What do you guys think of the chat? Should we invite our new good friend Enjay onto one of these shows here on a Thursday night? Come have him party with the video. You there yet? Hey, maybe we should get him on the 420 episode.
Oh man, that's too perfect.
It's tempting. I think I'm going to talk to him, Bob Smokes. I think that would be a match made in heaven for us. But we came here for a reason. We brought Fusion back because we've been missing it. I miss doing Fusion. Fusion's been like our marquee show. Surprisingly, we always wanted Ring Respect to be that huge marquee show. We got Ryan Carter, have a smoke show. That's generally the plan. The 420 episode. I mean, if you're against that kind of stuff, then it probably not going to be the episode for you. But we're very big advocates for the green here, especially that it's nice and legal in Canada. And yeah, there might be a puff or two on camera that night. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
Heavens, Munson.
We'll push the boundaries a little bit. Not that I've never been seen doing that on EA streams before in the past. Oh, yeah. Fuck it. We'll see what goes down anyway. Oh, look at this. Oh, well, this is going to get a whole lot more fun on 420 then. Oh, we're going to be celebrating birthday style that night. It's
oh,
awesome.
Shit. Hell yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know. I mean, I would get a cake for the occasion, but I don't know where it's going to go because I'm not big on the cake. I got to admit it right now. Not the biggest sweet tooth in the world, I got to say.
Well, Munson, you know better than to do that. You know what happens on a wrestling show when a cake gets introduced. You know what's going to happen.
How about this? Maybe I'll try to find some birthday cake weed for that night. I'll try to find some pre-rolled birthday cake joints, or I'll buy a few grams of birthday cake weed. I'll roll them up myself because I roll a damn good joint. Got to say, so do you, Pop Smokes. We're fucking pro at it.
I've had enough practice.
That's right. You put in the time and you get good at what you do. So, speaking of good at what we do, let's do our jobs here. Talking about MLW here tonight because a lot of big news has been dropping with MLW as of late. We know that Fusion was taken away. I believe Dombrowski was kind of mentioning there would be an announcement coming up soon. We still haven't seen anything on that front, but it's seeming like maybe Fusion isn't done for sure, Papa Smokes, but Underground might be, because as of today, a couple of days ago, it was announced that MLW Underground originally signed for 10 episodes with the Reelz channel. There was big news that Court Bauer was looking to try to get that as a replayable stream on Amazon Prime through Prime in the US. Big things were looking up for him. Ratings were excellent. Everything was going great until Reelz decided, hey, business time, gotta make money. And along comes the Peacock itself comes along and buys up Reelz. And because of the relationship with the WWE, they said, no, we're not having MLW on the channel. So you can no longer air their episodes after the 10 episodes are done. So essentially, once these 10 episodes are all said and done for Underground, unless some other channel decides to pick them up, we could be kissing them goodbye on the Underground side of things as we get Brian Carter, fuck WWE. They were behind it. It's you start to wonder, because again, this isn't the first time that MLW's had to push forward a lawsuit against them. They did this previously with the stuff with Vice TV, and this time this was a bigger network and everything involved too. So you start to really question, and Court Bauer is pretty adamant that WWE's been doing this for at least 4 decades or longer, squeezing the competition like this.
Oh, dude, it's not an argument. They have been. Everybody knows this, and it's not for me to comment on the legality of whether they are actually running a business monopoly or not. I'm sure that Jerry McDivitt and all the various lawyers, legal team of WWE are making sure that the loopholes are there and everything, but. My God, they've been running a massive business monopoly since Vince Jr. took over from his dad. Vince did exactly what his dad told him not to do and advised them not to do. Is go national, go against all the other promoters and try and take everything, which is what he ended up doing through national cable deals. And there was a time where it could have been done, where they could have all continued to work together, and McMahon still would have had the biggest company by a long shot out in New York. But he went for the predatory business practices and everything, did everything he could to undermine all the other territories so that he could have everything. It's classic psychopathic, sociopathic business behavior. You don't care about any humans. You don't care about any hurt that you do or any harm. It's all about increasing your bottom line of money. And I mean, I'm sure that is probably the successful way to be a working businessman, is you can't care about people. You can't care about human stories or anything like that. You have to just crush and destroy everything else until you reach your goals of complete dominance. And by God, you know, Vince McMahon Jr. has done exactly that. But think of all the fingers he stepped on in the meantime, and all the companies he's crushed, and all the careers he's ended, and the lives he's ruined. There's going to be a kickback from that, and we don't know in what form this will occur. But Court Bauer being the one guy to stand up and say, "Hey, I'm filing class action lawsuits against him because I'm going to argue this whole monopoly thing, and I think I might have some traction with it." Now, I don't think he's doing so great in that lawsuit, but it has been launched again in relation to just what's recently happened with the whole Reelz situation. And again, they're being blocked from the inside from getting on any channel that has any kind of distribution because, again, just like in the 80s, WWE ain't having any other company running while they're running.
Yeah, and again, Brian Carter coming in. Reelz is on a lot of other cable and streaming platforms, so I hope Peacock doesn't have that much clout over them. But from my understanding is they've already made the announcement that after the 10 episodes, that's it. Like MLW on Reelz is completely 100% done. The TV deal ends. They're not renewing it. And so either Court somehow magically gets picked up by another network that really wants to have a professional wrestling company on it, or what's he back to? Pro Wrestling TV, YouTube? Like, I mean, we've seen this same battle going on with Billy Corgan and the NWA over the last little while. They were, you know, solely on YouTube with the pay-per-views on Fight, and then they went over to a full-on subscription model on Fight Network or whatever, and then they pull it back, and now they're back on YouTube. It seems to be an ever-constant battle with networks not wanting to pick up these wrestling shows, possibly fear of not being able to do the business they want to do with other big companies that, of course, the McMahons have their you know, hands in the pots of and everything like that. You really start to see the muscle and flex that Vince and the WWE have when it comes to things like that, because really MLW shouldn't even be a blip on their radar in terms of like causing any detriment to their business. If anything, this is just another smaller company that's putting on wrestling shows that they can watch and observe and then pluck from, because of course, one thing that Court's never going to be able to offer these guys is these big national contracts, the opportunity to really take it to the next level. And that's the thing that AEW and WWE can offer the workers in MLW. I mean, it's great that they've been able to go along with the ride for this long and everything like that. But eventually, even with a cable deal of any kind, those guys they're going to want to step their game up and make the bigger paycheck. And I don't blame them at all whatsoever. But you start to see the flex, and what they seem to be doing is strong arming all these companies not to have an opportunity, which then kind of bleeds them of that money, which then hurts the wrestlers, because then the wrestlers are in that situation of, I've got no one else to work for unless I can get enough spots on the indies, or I have to move over to Japan and work for New Japan, or work for either the McMahon family or for Tony Khan, which, I mean, depending on what your style is, you might look at WWE and AEW right now and be like, you know what, maybe I'll go take a job in the local grocery store. Because let's face it, there's a lot of shit going on with both companies even right now that, depending on your style as a fan, you're going, what the hell happened to wrestling?
Yeah, and that's just it, that WWE will do those business practices where they try and just basically starve other companies out. And yeah, it's weird that MLW is not even a blip on the radar, as you said, of a company that's what's Vince trying to sell it for, $9 billion. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure
9 billion.
it's not valued at $9 billion, but that's what he's trying to get for it. It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, as if they have anything to worry about from MLW, but they just want to get these companies subordinate to them and in the position where they can just squeeze them, get whatever they can out of them. I'm sure Vince or Triple H would like to pinch some of the talent, take Fatu, take Hammerstone, take Davey Richards, whoever they want out of that company, and just leave them to starve to death. It doesn't matter to them what happens. They don't care what the fans want, or they don't care if the fans have any choice. And also think of it this way too, is that in the past year, and WWE has announced that in NXT they're not going to be focusing on taking indie trained wrestlers. They're going to focus on hiring people with the look that they like and some athletic background, and just molding them into their own WWE drone wrestler sort of thing. And we see that now. There's already stars that have started in the WWE that have no previous pro wrestling experience on the indies or anything like that. I'm trying to think of some of the names: Nikita Lyons, and there's a Saul Ruka or something like that. These are all people that they just hired as decent athletes from before, and they like their look. They have platforms on social media and stuff like that. They can already launch them off, and they don't need indie wrestlers with silly gimmicks or bad habits or anything like that. They just want to hire people and mold them into their own version of what a sports entertainer is. And I mean, I get the business model, but it doesn't speak well for the future product. You know, it's going to be like, instead of having a backyard barbecue hamburger, it's just you have McDonald's cheeseburger every single day, and that's it. That's all you ever get.
Yeah, not exactly the most appetizing. Brian Carter, if Hammerstone can't make WWE, then you know they're discriminating that way. I think they have no problem with the idea of signing Hammer. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, from my understanding, they have made attempts to talk to Hammer and also to Jacob Fatu for that matter, but it seems like neither one of them right now wants to make that move. They don't want to turn on Court Bauer, who they feel has given them a good home and a good place, and he's promised them the world as well too. I just listened to Court Bauer on Talk is Jericho talking a bit about his class action, his lawsuit against the WWE, but also mentioning about how he told Fatu, told Hammer, like, if you renew up with me, I promise you everything. Like, you will be my guys moving forward. Any bit of extra money I can bring in, I'm going to pay you guys more. I will do what I can to pad you guys for being able to make my show that much better. And rightfully so, because I mean, these are two top draws for them. They're two big stars that easily could, walk at any point in time and go over and be, I mean, depending on how they used, I think both of them very capable of being stars in one of the bigger companies.
Yeah, that's always the risk, though, too, right? Is that they've got a good deal creatively in MLW where they each have the character or the wrestling persona that they like, that they're able to use, and they're getting over that way. Now, if you get signed in WWE, you have no idea what they're going to do with you. You might be an evil clown. You might be a male model with a couple of other male models. You might be a serial killer with a mustache. You might be, who goddamn knows, man. Like, you might get the stupidest fucking thing, and you probably will, actually. And nobody wants that, right? Because you try and make that gimmick work, it doesn't work, and they just drop you. They don't give a fuck, man. They'll just fire you and bring the next guy up. And that's it. So, I mean, we talked to a couple of wrestlers like that, including Lance Anawa'i, that had the experience there and enjoyed it and stuff, but they just, you can't plan your future around a company like that doesn't care about you as a person, They just want to squeeze you for whatever they can get from you, and then bang, you're replaced with the next shiny new wrestler that's going to be popular. And what kind of a future is it? You might make a few good bucks in the meantime, but might your career be finished after they're done with you? Maybe.
Yeah, you never know what's up there. I mean, you could be sitting on the sidelines for 2-3 years. I mean, you could go sign for Tony and be his favorite plaything for about a month before he drops you for the next one that he signs. I mean, again, I don't want to talk harm to WWE and AEW. There are good things that both companies do. There's a lot of shitty things that both companies do. But there is good people there as well too. And I mean, I'm not trying to say I want these companies to go away in any means. It's just, it's not my cup of tea to sit there and watch the entertainment side over and over and over again. Like they pump out. Like I know a lot of people are hot on WWE again with Hunter at the Helmsley, taking care of things. I'll agree. Is he better than Vince at booking in a modern age? 100%. Are the premium live events typically a lot more interesting than they used to be? Certainly. Is he perfect? Fuck no. Not at all. And he's making some pretty glaringly big mistakes and allowing some people to have a little too much freedom over there to just play around and be a bunch of goofy pieces of garbage. And I'm looking the way of, a guy like Bray Wyatt, which a lot of people blame the booking of him on Vince McMahon. And he comes back under Triple H. He's the same shit, if not worse, at this point in time. It's become more goofy, more stupid, more irritable to the point where it's like he's wrestled one fucking match since coming back in the summertime. One. And it was a stupid lights out, neon flashing, bullshit, puke, garbage rave match that nobody gives a fuck about and just done. Like, it's just, that's the kind of nonsense that people are helping to promote. Yes, they get certain things right. The bloodline. Yeah, that's a cool storyline. But look who's booking it. Paul Heyman. That's who's booking the best storyline that they got going over there right now.
Yeah, and Paul Heyman, look at his past as a booker. He did well, but he wasn't into long, involved stories and stuff like that. Paul Heyman in the ECW years was a booker of, just show-by-show basis, the blood, the violence, the sex, everything else. But, and you talk about Bray Wyatt, too. I mean, like, I don't know what to say about that. Like, this is a star that, I should just say a wrestler, that obviously has an interesting imagination. As far as I've ever read, he's come up with a lot of these ideas himself. He wants to push it. What is this? Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
That's awesome.
Yeah, those two
totally
guys tear
with
each
you
other
on that.
apart. Yeah, I'll watch that 100 times over.
But the only Bray Wyatt match I've seen since he left the Wyatt family, the Hillbilly family or whatever, was that one that you made me watch to review that was
the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, John Cena, This Is Your Life. And that was just hot garbage, man. I mean, I'm sure there's an audience for that kind of match nowadays where fans are thinking, oh, it's their art and he's expressing himself and all this stuff. Yeah, no, I look at it in terms of white and black. Like, is it good to watch on TV or good to watch live, or is it not? And it just absolutely was not to my eyes anyway. I mean, this is all my opinion. You guys know I'm a crusty old bastard about wrestling in the first place, but man, I can get into stuff. I'm into new stuff too if it's done well, but this was just crap and boring and shitty and didn't make any sense. And I don't know what to think about Bray Wyatt, that when he came back in the summertime with the whole White Rabbit thing, I mean, that was cool. That got everybody interested. It piqued my interest. I love those clips, including the one you took of that song playing so loud, not with the music though, just the vocal track in the quiet, in the dark arena with everybody's lighters. Very cool, man. Like, very compelling. I like that. And it's a little mystery that everyone's trying to figure out who's coming, who is this in reference to. Great idea. They set the whole thing up great. And then it ended up being a popcorn fart by the time it actually happened, because there was no meat to back it up.
And look who's joining us now. It's Chris Parrish. And look, I like what he's done here. You see how this is spelt out so that O-L-E is prominent in eight people. That's right, because Ole right here on the channel.
Ole.
Ole. But as always, like, follow, and subscribe to everything our local establishment, because it's a lot of great things going on over here, Pop Smokes. But yeah, going back to this topic, we went a little off on Bray Wyatt there and everything, and I don't want to talk about him for too long because it just boils my blood. But it does boil my blood about how WWE seriously is doing this to MLW at this point. And I know that there's a lot of naysayers out there, that there's a lot of people that seem to think Court Bauer's a crybaby and that it's because his product's not good. No, man. Like, the guy is putting in the work. He is doing everything it takes. And when he has situations like this, he had a good thing going with Reelz. And then just like that, no, we're done because we're signing with Peacock, because everybody gets bought by everybody. And in the end, it all comes down to a certain amount of level of billionaires across this planet that are capable of affording these things, to the point where our fucking planet is going to be owned by 4 different companies at some point in time if we keep going the direction we are. And that's just the way business is and how it's going. And it's very unfortunate, because I think it hurts MLW, because, again, did they alienate some people that were watching Fusion on a regular basis, couldn't get Reelz, or just didn't want to invest in getting Reelz if it was accessible to them? Did they alienate those people? Are they going to be able to win them back? What kind of harm could this have done as a whole to MLW is kind of what I'm wondering now, if they do choose to come back with Fusion to Pro Wrestling TV or to YouTube. Is it going to have the same effect that it was when they had that momentum going for them?
For sure. And sometimes when you're in the room with the big bully, you want to be quiet and make sure he doesn't see you, so that he doesn't turn his attention towards you. But what Court Bauer has done now is poke the big bully right in the tummy there and got his attention. And now that's what you get for that, I suppose, too. WWE doesn't like the bad press of having lawsuits against them. And they're going to strike back against Court and MLW. And yeah, they're no more than a fly on their side, but they will squash them if they can. And that's what's sad about the whole thing, is that, just like Vince Sr. said, we could have all worked together. Like, this could have been a thing where we all shared, and New York still would have been by far the biggest territory and making by far the most money. But just as in business, there's inevitably going to be one person that wants it all for themselves. And that's what it is. That's what the story of pro wrestling is in North America, is just the greed of one guy that took it all away from all of us and gave us one product in return that doesn't fill the hole of all the good wrestling we used to be able to watch. And not even close.
Yeah. And Brian Carter saying it's going to hurt MLW because they had such a planning, a match disruption, so they would have material for Underground. That they lost some fans, almost me. Yeah, I mean, again, if it weren't for the fact that we have so many people we know that work there now that we've had the opportunity to talk to, I 100% agree. I didn't want to give up on them at all, Pop Smokes, because again, I want to support the Lance Adewai's, the Alex Kane's, the Mr. Thomas's, the ones that have been on our show. But then, of course, the Jacob Fatu's, the Alexander Hammerstones, the Richard Holidays, which, of course, that man back in the gym, getting fit and ready to make a return sooner rather than later. Fantastic. And again, like some local Canadian boys and Harry Smith and the Billington Bulldogs over there, who, I mean, sounds like that rivalry with the Beaumont Fight Club's really been heating up, and just a lot of shit going on that we never got to see as a result of Fusion turning into Underground so quickly there. One of the things I did want to address is the news that the unveiling of the calling cards attackers happened. We're talking about the same group, person, or whomever it was that took out the entire, and let's say the entire roster of people, including the Mr. Thomases, the Kelvin Tankmans, the Mads Krugers of the world.
Killer Cross,
yeah. Like, who could possibly be ballsy enough and strong enough to take out the whole team? And it was finally revealed, 3 dudes. Three dudes that took it out. One, Raven, which, I mean, no disrespect to Raven. I have no harm about what Raven's put out in the wrestling world and stuff like that. Kudos to him, but come on, Raven's done his time. I don't think Raven is stepping it up big time to the Mods Krugers and Killer Crosses of the world anytime soon. Akira, I'm not familiar with Akira, but I don't, unless Akira knows some sort of, death punch that I'm not familiar with that can put a person down pretty quick. I don't know. And then Ricky, what was it? Ricky Shane Page, is that the name? Really? Yeah. Well, hold on here. We got when they said it was Ricky Shane Page, I thought it was Michael Allen Richard Clark. That was it.
That would have been better.
Exactly. I think I believe Clark's capable of taking out some of those boys better. I know, and again, no disrespect to Ricky Shane Page. This did not feel like I think they set themselves up for failure. I mean, the single off attack's fine. 3 guys beating a dude from behind backstage. Sure. Granted. But when they had the whole roster laid out in that hallway as if those guys were just all hanging out in the hallway coincidentally, heels and baby faces alike, and somehow these 3 boys just come in and start laying every single one out like it was some sort of zombie apocalypse and they're fighting for their lives, wipe out the whole roster and drop some calling cards in the process. Like, come on. That's a bit much.
Oh man, yeah, and that's just it. They oversold it in the opening moments of this angle, and yeah, like you say, they had found Bud Heavy, beaten up in the corridor. They had found one other wrestler here and there, and okay, that's believable. But by the Fusion finale of the previous season, they showed everybody laid out, and that was when Cesar Duran was getting fired and all that. And that's hot shotting, man. That's overselling it. Now you're thinking, well, it's got to be someone huge and totally destructive. No, it isn't. It's a new faction of 3 guys who don't really fit together, and you just didn't have anything to do with them, so you glued these 3 together. I mean. And I get it. If you're going to use Raven, it's a good idea. He's got a supernatural and scary type gimmick sort of thing, so you could get some scary supernatural type wrestlers to follow him. No, one guy's kind of a southern redneck kind of wrestler. The other guy, I don't know, is he Japanese? He has a Japanese name. I don't think he looks like he's Japanese. I don't know. I don't know who these guys are and how they fit together. And obviously we can't watch the show, so we're not seeing the proper build up to everything. But wow, I was surprised, and this has left me cold, this whole calling card thing.
Yeah, it just really did not fit. And you are right, Papa Smokes, right to assume that Akira is Japanese. That's where his career has mostly been taking place as well too. And of course, he's stopped all over the world and everything like that. And I mean, we haven't really seen him. And Kruger was first. Yeah, I mean, Kruger would have been a better fit for this, but they took him out. He was on the staircase. He was on the staircase with everybody else. It wasn't like Kruger got jumped by 3 guys from behind backstage like Killer Cross or Bud Heavy did. He was a part of the mass amount of the roster that completely got undersold as getting beat up by a guy who essentially is retired, especially from in-ring action, a virtual unknown from over in Japan, and Ricky Shane Page, who I'm pretty sure not a whole lot of people are going to be familiar with in a way that you could go, damn, yeah, I see those 3 guys kicking the shit out of everybody on the MLW roster.
Well, it's weird because I looked at Ricky Shane Page too, and he reminds me a whole lot of Gnarls Garvin that they had last year.
Big beef.
Excuse me, for a while there, and he was going to be in the tag team with Bud Heavy and such. We had some hope for that, and then they tried him. They didn't have a use for him, so they cut him, and now they've got a guy that is just almost the same thing, kind of. And I don't know what they're thinking sometimes, but again, just as we're talking about this lawsuit and everything, it's tough for MLW to go out there and get decent talent. That's the thing. We always think that there's, a whole ton of awesome independent wrestlers to get. Well, there are, but if you want someone with a name, a bit of a reputation, someone that maybe has some experience working with TV cameras and being on TV, being able to do promos and all that, the pre-tapes and live promos and stuff, it ain't easy, man. There is not a ton of those experienced wrestlers out there that can come in and make a difference in your wrestling federation. So I get it. Hence the deals with AAA and Dragon Gate and all that. Let's keep up with that too, because we've had some interesting stars from AAA, a bunch of luchadors, and then Dragon Gate, we've seen the likes of Shun Skywalker. That was cool. I mean, more of that, please. And yeah, I think this is the route they should go, but still try and get some half decent American and Canadian stars too.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And again, like Chris Parrish is mentioning that he did a show with Ricky Shane Page and he uses Brute. But again, yeah, I think we're not undermining Ricky Shane Page in any means. He probably is a Brute, probably kicked the shit out of me without even breaking a sweat. But do I believe that him, Raven, and Akira took out the entire MLW roster in one shot? Not talking like individually took them out. I'm talking the entire roster in the stairwell all at once. Yeah, it becomes a part that they should have just not included. Like, the attacks backstage were fine. This reveal is flat only because of that staircase moment. And again, it only is that way because of the staircase moment. And here we got the gas masks may indicate that they not. Okay, fair. Maybe they're using some sort of gas to gas them all and stuff like that and everything. Sure, but geez, like, it's a bit much at the same time. I don't have a problem with these guys being put together if they got nothing for them, or they want to put Ricky Shane Page and Akira over, so they bring Raven in as a mouthpiece, because we know Raven could talk. There's no issue with this being used. Raven's, knowledge of the wrestling business and everything he's done in it being able to be used to put these guys over in a big way, fine. And had they not included the entire roster going down in one shot, okay, I think it would have been a little bit stronger than having this be the reveal with that one staircase moment. I think if they eliminated the staircase moment, I'd be a little bit more intrigued by this storyline.
Yeah, sure. And I get what they were trying to do too, is that was in that season finale from last year. So they were trying to get the fans on a bit of a cliffhanger and excited for next season, to think, oh, there's going to be a new wrestler or a new faction in a top spot on the card, maybe kind of in the same way that Contra Unit was the overlying faction that kind of ran MLW in its own way for those couple of years there as a tremendously successful faction. But even without the staircase moment and the build-up beatings and everything, this announcement is just kind of like, if guys that are constantly studying wrestling and trying to keep up on all the new stuff, if we haven't heard of those guys, then it's kind of, you've dug deep down into the barrel to bring these dudes, and it doesn't make a huge announcement for all the rest of the fans because none of us have really heard of these guys. It's too bad. Again, I'm not criticizing the fact that they're scraping for talent right now. It doesn't look good on the show when you introduce a new faction for the top of the card and people are kind of scratching their heads like, who are these guys? Are these guys any good?
Yeah, exactly. And I 100% agree with that statement. But, we'll see how things unfold again, see what they have planned for the rest of Underground, see what's planned for the rest of MLW. Again, hopefully we'll be hearing some announcements coming up soon. They're going to have to pivot and either try to find another network to hop onto, or else they're going to have to start putting Underground and or Fusion back on the air through YouTube or something like that. I'd even be okay if they had a paid subscription, kind of like, NWA had for a while through Fight or something like that. With MLW, I would go the extra mile for them. I would give them a small monthly subscription to be able to watch content, to be able to watch, special events, all that kind of stuff. Like, give it to us, Court. Like, seriously, I would give the money. I would support that if that is the direction that he had to go. If you can't get the TV deal, take my money, man.
Yeah, that's the name of the game too, and just that's the whole balancing act, is trying to get your product in an area where the fans that want to pay you money can, but we're just in a little bit of an awkward spot right now up here in Canada with the whole Reelz thing. And God, I just want it to be over. I want to get back to watching MLW regularly. I miss the guys. I like seeing the clips online, but it's not the same thing as watching the whole show. Seeing Harry Smith knock out Alex King with that forearm, and he's got the eyes rolled up, and Mr. Thomas is holding him. Some rather funny moments and interesting stuff that's happened, but it's kind of hard just watching it through GIFs on Twitter.
And it seems like Alex Kane's been absolutely stealing the show week by week over there on Reelz right now. As we're joined by a show stealer herself, it's Mel Ball Collins. Say it, gentlemen. How you doing, Mel? Good to see you. Where's PPW streaming? Take my money. You get PPW for free. I mean, yeah, it's a little behind. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It's cool you brought this up, because we'll talk about this for a minute. Actually, it has been discussed. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when riding in a live capacity, and with the modest amount of people that we have currently working to run PPW. We got people running multiple positions per night. Like, I'm talking backbreaking labor, doing everything they can, from the wrestlers to the people selling booze and taking tickets and working the door and putting things up, tearing things down, cleaning up the arena. I mean, it's a massive team effort. A lot of hours go into it. And to do a live stream, the thing is, to do that, we'd either have to invest in new cameras that could be, and a switchboard so that we could switch between them, or basically it would have to be on something like Twitch, like we are here, where you would get really essentially just a hard cam shot of the show, which, I mean, it could work in some capacity like that. And maybe that's coming down the line. I don't know. We haven't had the full conversation about it just yet, but it has crossed our mind. So, we are listening. We are thinking about it. But for now, we're just going to keep up with putting those shows together, editing them up, giving them to you on a Saturday afternoon. But go stationary camera and commentate. Yeah, but again, it comes down to the amount of people, my man. Right now, you got myself and Papa Smokes are the video bros for a reason, because we're the only ones that have been willing to pick up a camera and get behind there. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to be expanding the video bros here soon. There is conversations about a third video bro being added to the mix, possibly. So there might be some changes happening very, very soon. But we'll talk about those more once it becomes a thing. That's on the DL for now. That's just a little tidbit you get here when you tune into our show. We'll see what goes down. Lots of time before then. Of course, we got some great things in store, especially when it comes to that show on April the 22nd. Possibly going to be having some intro videos too that are going to be taking place for the guys on that one. So we're going to jazz it up. We're going to make it look really cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully it gets better than the Raven launch.
It'll be better.
Everything gets better in PPW. We've got an exciting crowd and a lot of great wrestlers, and that title match, that's going to be killer. I mean, Sheiky's going to be in for it. I mean, this is round 2, Colton Kelly and Sheik Akbar Shabazz, and man, they took it to the limit last time. Can't wait to see it. And I don't know if you knew about this, Papa Smokes, but this gentleman right here, Chris Parrish, saying April 22nd, you say, I think that there may be plans for a little bit of fun and partying up in old Saskatoon. I believe that Chris Parrish might be coming to hang out with the Video Bros and have a Video Bros party on April the 22nd. What do you say, folks?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And they'll all say, Cheeky baby. Yeah, that's right, cheeky baby. He pretends like he doesn't love us, but he knows he loves us here on
He loves me, Munson. Yeah, he loves me. I know that for sure.
I might have ruffled his feathers a time or two. I've said a thing or two. Sheiky doesn't always look too fondly on guys that run their mouths a little too much like me. Just kind of like El Assassino. I mean, both of them want to slap the taste out of my mouth, but they know that if they did that, who else is going to make them look that good on camera? So
that's true. That is true. But yeah, I value my relationships with some of the top heels in the company. We just have things in common. We just feel each other. Me and the heels. It's beautiful like that.
You do have that certain level of connection with them, Papa Smokes, just like I do with all the fun-loving baby faces, because we always like to rock and roll, especially my good boy Cutthroat Colton Kelly, my man. Can't wait to see you take on Sheiky. That is going to be one hell of a matchup here for Prairie Pro Wrestling. And man, Sheiky, that's about a year as champion in around that mark, possibly, Papa Smokes. I'd have to look back on the information, but that's been a solid run as champion, and we can't even say that it's over. Okay, I mean, Cutthroat Golden Kelly's going to bring it to the limit. He's going to throw everything he can at the champion. But, man, Sheiky has managed to sneak his way out of those matches, those title defenses, and come out as the champion still. So, again, we don't know that this is going to be the end of his title run. This title run may never end at this rate.
Well, and as wrestling fans, we all realize that the champion doesn't have to win the match. He doesn't have to get a pin. He doesn't have to get a submission. All he has to do is walk out of the ring with that belt still around his waist, and that's a win in every book. So Sheik knows this completely. He's going to work it as well as he can. He's got an iron grip on that title belt, and I can't see him releasing that anytime soon.
No, he's not looking to do that. But again, we are going to see one hell of a fight. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of great action there. As we have a lot of the returning roster joining us. Probably a lot of the same people we had at the last show there, Papa Smoke. And it's been absolutely electric. We've got the best of the best coming out there, exciting that crowd. And man, that crowd just gets better every single time. Everybody out there, it's grown to a point where they understand and respect the fact that we like the energy up in there. We like them to be hot throughout the entire night, and that's what they do. From the second they step into that building to the minute they leave, they are pumped, they are psyched, and they go home happy. You wouldn't believe the amount of messages we've had through social media after the last show, people that were having their first experience of a Prairie Pro Wrestling show, some that were returning fans, just reaching out and saying, this is the absolute best show I've ever been to in my life. It continues to get better. Can't wait for the next one. So excited. It is off the hook, Pop Smokes, and I'm so excited for April the 22nd. It's going to be electric.
No, same thing here. I always get excited when it's PPW weekend. Saturday nights are right for fighting all the time. I'm going to be down there. Auntie Wuji's going to be there. Munson, you'll be there. All the rest of the talent and all the staff of PPW. We're going to get that building ready. Chairs, beers, hot dogs, all the rest of it. We're going to have everything ready to go because that our fans love hot dogs. And, man, I can't say anything more about it. We got a big title match, a full card, and the weather's going to be getting nice by that time. Ooh, yeah, baby. We're going to blast that Cosmo Center, blast it to the ground. There ain't going to be nothing standing Sunday morning, and that's the way I like it.
Hey, you know what else is not going to be standing Sunday morning? It's going to be me, you, and Chris Parrish as well, too, because if he's coming out to Saskatchewan, I'm warning you, man. I've told you before, we don't need no sleep because the party don't stop, and you're going to find out just how true that rings when you come out here and hang with the video bros. It's about fucking time. I am so psyched, Pop Smokes. Hell yeah. There we go.
Good stuff. I put my party shoes on that night.
Oh, it's going to be a fun time. I can't wait. But again, that's April the 22nd. In the meantime and in between time, Pop Smokes, this has been a fun ass night of doing this. I'm glad we got to bring back the double header and spend a couple of hours with everybody here. As we put this out onto YouTube, if you're watching there, you're going to find out that these are divided up, Ring Respect Radio and Fusion separately. So if you're watching either one of them, we thank you very much for taking the time to put in the views for us. If you haven't done so already, and I know you might not have, because I know at least 95% of you watching our show in particular have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. It takes you seconds. You just go down there, you click that subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously and helps out the other creators here on our local establishment. Helps get these videos recommended as well, too. So tell your friend, your friend's friend, your boss, your dog, your ex-wife, whoever it is. Tell them about our local establishment. Tell them about the Video Bros and just how much fun we have. And then, of course, we got lots of other cool shit going on the channel as well, too. We'll talk about that in a minute as we're saying our goodbyes. We are going to raid out here tonight, Papa Smokes. We're going to head on over. I think looking at the list here tonight, we're going to give this one to our good buddy Heel Kevin like we like to do on a Thursday night. He's a good guy. He gets the energy levels going that we are so accustomed to here on the show. But yes, Papa Smokes, I want to know, just as we ask every week, where the good people tuning in can find Papa Smokes.
All right, baby. When I'm online, I go right to Elon Musk's Wonderland of Free Speech. Only $8 a month for that blue check mark, which I ain't paying, by the way. But it's known as Twitter, and I am at Smokes_Papa. I'm also on Twitch at Papa_Smokes_.
You bet. And if you check out that ticket below, you'll find all the places where you can reach out to myself. You can also check out some of my other shows here on the channel as well, too. Every Sunday, join in Chris Parrish for Bustin' Out. It is the Brunch Busters bringing you all the week in professional wrestling, and you never know who just might show up. We have guests there all the time as well, too. Just this last week, we had Jared Fritz, but I think this time we're going to go with episode 28. 28 episodes later, as we're titling it. It is going to be a fun time, myself and Chris Parrish this Sunday, so tune in for that. Of course, I've got my other show that just came out recently, Killer Cuts, that's been kicking ass and doing really well. Chapter 1 now available on all the channels, so check that out. Give some love and support over there as well, too. As Antiwuji says, great show, guys. Thank you, Antiwuji. We're going to now raid Heel Kevin. If you're joining us on YouTube, remain with us until the very end here. But yes, we have had a hell of a blast of a time with you guys. Can't wait to see you next week because, again, next week we're joined in a live capacity, starting early again. Joseph Samael is in the studio with the Video Bros. It is going to be great. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Thursday night. Stay cool.